Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning on Behind the Screen. This is episode 21, which is sort of bizarre to me to even think about that we have had 21 episodes of Behind the Screen. So today I titled a Potpourri edition because we're just going to talk about a lot of different things. Game design is going to get pushed off a little bit. Maybe we'll cycle back around to that on Thursday. Maybe I'll do a review. Haven't quite figured it out yet. Don't have a lot of coffee in me as of yet. But, yeah, hello to everyone who is out there. I got back from Chaosium Con. We're doing our next episode of Exploring Glorantha on Saturday with my good friend Evan, who went to Chaosium Con with me. And after that, we're going to record a behind the screen episode. We're going to talk about our experience at Chaosium Con. But it was amazing. I went to a panel on myths in role-playing games, especially Glorantha and the new Pendragon that was hosted. And what was interesting to me, the big takeaway. Ooh, Oz, thank you, sir. Good to see you, buddy. I'm looking forward to chatting with you tomorrow, and thank you for continuing the fan club. So the big takeaway, what was interesting is if hero questing, if the myths in Glorantha and in Pendragon going out to quest are really about the chaos comp, the tearing down chaos and giants and putting up new walls at the edge of creation, then Cthulhu is sort of the anti-myth, right? The anti-myth is chaos will win. There's nothing you can do about it. The bubble will eventually pop. And that was a really interesting take to hear from the guys behind Chaosium, that they viewed Cthulhu as part of this mythic cycle, but sort of an anti-myth, which was just fascinating. Oz, yeah, no, let's be honest. It's always the Becca fan club for you. And Rook, good to see you. And as always, my friend, thank you for your generosity. So, some of the cool things I picked up at Chaosium Con. I got 2 new Call of Cthulhu books that I had in PDF but didn't have in print because they just released. We'll talk about a lot of these over the next couple of weeks. Some of Greg Stafford's library. The big one that I'm really excited about is this one, the book of Arcane Lore, which is all of Greg's initial notes on hero quests and hero questing. But the really cool things were they had this, and I know it's white, so the light's going to be difficult to see, but this is Greg Stafford's notes from his house campaign between 1978 and 1981. And I have been reading through these. These are articles that he had published in some fanzines that are just fascinating to see the development of the game, to see the development of the world of Glorantha. John Wick has a joke, or something that he kind of talks about when he talks about Greg, is that if you think you've developed something new in role-playing games, Greg Stafford got there first, is kind of how he says this. And one of the things that struck me as I was reading through this is that he talks about the same thing we're talking about on the Grand Campaign in 1978. Padre, good to see you this morning. He had this quote from one of his articles that says he was responding to somebody. This was before he had coined the term "Your Glorantha may vary." He's like, thoughts on your thoughts of deviationalism. The deviation between your campaign and mine are inevitable and desirable. I never expect to play in someone else's Glorantha and find it just like mine. Refereeing and playing in a good fantasy role-playing campaign is a constantly changing and evolving process as we learn more and more about the world through the common experiences between the referee, the players, and the characters experienced in a game. And so that's what we're talking about in the Grand Campaign, right? That the rules are just a starting point, and really it's about the relationships between the rules and the story and the GM and the players. So again, if you think you have a cool idea about gaming, John Wick says Greg got there before you and probably said it a little bit better. The other cool thing I got was I got outbid on everything at auction except for one thing, and I finally got a copy of the Stormbringer role playing game, which I am going to tear the wrapper off of when I get to, and really enjoy reading through. So this has been was a lot of fun. We got to meet up with some fans at Chaosium Con. It was really interesting and just exciting to have people recognize us. One person, if you're out there and watching this later, it was so great to meet you, Robert. He actually brought his Jackals book for me to sign, which was just possibly the highlight of the whole thing for me. Just to see Jackals out in the wild and have people know I was going to be there. That was pretty fun. Padre, just so you know, I'm getting my Age of Sigmar stuff in this week. If it's here by Thursday, I'll show it off, and if not, we'll wait till a following episode to kind of look at that. So as I said, a little bit of a potpourri thing. We're going to look at two things. So as you may know, I'm the line developer for 13th Age. We just had a new book hit pre-release on the Pelgrane website. I can't show off a ton of it. Pelgrane likes to be the one to do that, but I think I can show just a couple of things, because what's really fascinating to me and what I'm really enjoying about it, seeing this come together, is I have friends who are in this book. So this is the Drakkenhall City of Monsters book that will be coming out. You can get it on Pelgrane Press's website. I'll have a link for it in the show notes. So this is Drakkenhall, the City of Monsters, and it is a book that leans into that idea of your Dragon Empire will vary. We have several different authors, and their goal is not to be we're not establishing canon with this book. This is not the definitive, here's what Drakkenhall is. This is more of a, here is what Drakkenhall could be. So each chapter has a completely different take on Drakkenhall. Now you can, a GM can weave through these tales together. They can, each campaign, pull out different chapters for different use. There's a ton of new monsters in it. But there are some just luminaries who are going to be in this book, alongside some new people who are friends of the show. So I figured I'd just go over what's in the book real quickly to kind of show it off. So this is Drakkenhall City of Monsters. Chapter 1 is Power Brokers and Pawns, and Liz wrote an amazing chapter about what's it like living in a city of monsters. Ben Feehan, who, if you have spent any time in the chat or watched the Torg stream, Ben is a good friend, and he did a chapter called Welcome to the Rubblehood. If you like Drakkenhall, if you like 13th Age, if you like Terry Pratchett, you need to read Ben's chapter. It looks at all of the different small neighborhoods in Drakkenhall and how these Rubblehoods, which are covered in 13 True Ways, what it would be like to actually live in this. It is hysterical. You will laugh out loud, and there are, I want to say, 130 story hooks at least just in that one chapter. Next to Ben and Liz, we have Docks of Drakkenhall, which is by Garth Ryder Hanrahan, which looks at the docks, and if you've read any of Gar's work, you know that they're going to be hysterical and enjoyable. I think he has a Diebuck Inn, an inn that is actually a soul-stealing creature, and there's a table to roll on that says, I stayed at the Diebuck Inn, and all I got was, and you roll on the table, which is just great. There is also The Goblin Market by Cal Moore. Cal Moore did the Battle Scenes books for 13th Age. He did Elven Towers, which I love. He's a very creative writer, very great writer, really gets the idea of low-level Drakkenhall that is a lot of fun. There's some really cool monsters in there. Smash and Grab is about a semi-secret society of adventurous archaeologists in Drakkenhall. And then Corey, who's another good friend of the channel, Corey did the Orcs of Drakkenhall, and it's even more of a hodgepodge potpourri chapter than the rest of the book, because he gives 4 or 5 different reasons on why orcs aren't allowed in Drakkenhall, and explores each of them kind of high level to give you a multiple choices on why orcs aren't allowed in Drakkenhall. Now, one of the other fun things about this book is my good friend Bob, who is sometimes in the chat, but I don't see him today, which is a shame, because the end of this show is going to be very Bob focused, did some art for the show. So for the book. Padre, I am really enjoying the Age of Sigmar books. I have to tell you, I was not expecting to enjoy the books and the lore as much as I did. And again, I've said this because I love the old world, and what I love about the old world is sort of that whimsical yet grounded in a fantasy Holy Roman Empire feel. It feels real. It feels real as there's a versimil there's a realness to it. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to stumble over words today on the chat. Um, but thanks to Padre, I started looking at Age of Sigmar. Got a starter box coming in for Zane and I to put together and paint. Fire Slayers versus the Idoneth Deepkin Elves. And as I've been reading the lore, it's not the old world, and it has nothing that I loved about the old world. But it is like somebody ground up the old world with Planescape and a healthy dose of heavy metal and a dash of superheroes, and then snorted the whole thing and created this wonderfully intense setting. It's sort of stripped away the groundedness and went, what do we do if we went to if each of the Winds of Magic were their own realms and went from there? Yeah, it's completely different, Padre, but I appreciate you asking me to take another look at it, because there is something there that I think I could run with pretty long term. Now, speaking of running it with long term, if you are a member of the Iconic Patreon, there is a poll right now on our Discord channel about what is the next game that we're going to launch next month. We're going to launch a brand new weekly show. It'll be a streamed game, and we are looking at doing that. There are a couple of choices. We've got a couple of different questions to answer. Right now, though, the games that we're looking at are Jackals, and to everyone who has voted for Jackals, thank you so much. Your enthusiasm is heartening, and your realism on broader appeal is humbling, and I appreciate both of those in equal measure. But we're also looking at Warhammer Fantasy, RuneQuest Glorantha, which I think dovetails really nicely in with our Exploring Glorantha game. I've had several people ask me to show off how I run RuneQuest, Forbidden Lands, and then Age of Sigmar, which, again, I was not expecting to sort of be excited about running. Oh, so you were painting some Stormcast Eternals last night? Or, man, the Griffin Hounds are also just a great-looking mini. Talking with Padre here, he was doing some Stormcast Eternals, which is sort of the Sigmarite faction. And then, oh man, the Sons of Behemoth, Padre, the army that looks to be about 2 or 3 giants, looks really interesting. But I do appreciate that GW was like, you're still going to have to pay as much to play this faction as any other one, because the giants are incredibly detailed, they're huge, they're about $130 a piece. So whatever show we end up running next, I'm really hoping to have Bob Crumb in it, and hopefully get Bob to do some art for the show in advance. We'll probably make t-shirts of the art. We'll probably make a logo for the show. We'll probably make stickers for those. So if you want to go over and check out our Redbubble, you can check that out as well. If you're a member of the patronage, you can jump on Discord, even at the lowest tier, and vote on what show will be done next. Now, this is something we talked about on the show a while ago when it was going on. I actually wrote a little blurb for Bob's Kickstarter. So Bob did a Kickstarter for the Dark Patina deck. And, ooh, that's a good idea. I have a really great giant that I'm working on, and when I finish it, I'll paint it up. I did a giant from the Atlantis miniature line, Padre, for Jackals that Becca actually got me. So Bob did this Kickstarter for a deck of cards called the Dark Patina. And you get a little, I backed at a level where I got a little piece of art, which Bob sent me, this great Cthulian kind of squid thing that, the quote I always tell Bob why I like working with him with art, he actually put on the back, whose head I rip images out of and bring to life, and nothing could be closer to the truth. So he did this set, and it came in yesterday. And because we love Bob, both here at Iconic Production, he's one of my best friends. I figured I would show it off because it will be available to purchase for a limited time once he gets the show up or the shop up. And when he does, we'll post a link to it. So we got this sweet coin that came with it. Dark Patina, Bob Crumb, and then Latin on the back. Oratio Spi, which I know is prayer. So it'll be interesting to see the translation on that. And this, I got the red deck. My wife picked up the white deck, or the black deck. And I figured I'd just open it and show it off on screen. And if you guys like it, sweet. If not, you can tune away at this point. But Bob's art is remarkably intense and symbolic. I love it. I love working with Bob on projects because he's the guy who taught me how to give good artistic critiques, and has this amazing. We've been friends so long, we've gamed together so long that we have been able to. Bob kind of picks up my art direction in a way that I have been very blessed with. He's actually working on a new project with me, a new game that I'm working on that uses the Jackal system, so I'm pretty excited about that. So, Dark Patina box, gorgeous art on the front, Bob's new logo on the back, and oh, man, alright. Don't want to mess these up. Now, these are poker cards, which are great if you like to play poker, but also I think these would make an amazing set of initiative cards for Deadlands. If you play Savage Worlds and you use the cards as initiative, this would be a great deck and a great thematic deck to use. I know I felt the same way, Ben. Just opening it up, it's a numbered deck. There are people who take collecting poker decks as seriously as we collect cards. Now, Bob had originally said that he didn't feel like the foil showed up really well, the metallic ink on the back of these things, but I think they showed up just amazingly well, Bob. I mean, look at that shine. Ben, you missed the huge discussion of your Rubblehood chapter for Drakenhall. I said it was the most Pratchian chapter that I think we've ever had the pleasure of putting together for a 13th Age book. And if you end up liking that chapter, Ben and Becca are in the next book that's coming down, Behemoths, and I'm getting the art in for that, and that's amazing. So it comes with, all right, these are 3 cards that, let me make sure the camera's focusing on them, that form a little triptych that have nothing to do with anything except looking awesome. So Bob designed each of these cards from the ground up using symbolism and imagery that is very kind of important to him. So we have the Ace of Spades, this very heart-shaped rib cage looking thing. All of the numbers have the same, same kind of swirls on the symbols, but it's a good quality card. And then, I mean, this is why we're here. Like, this is Bob's art, and he specifically designed the cards so that each side was not just a mirror image, that each side, depending on which way the card is, you get a reflection of what is below. And I love that about Bob. He thinks about each little piece of the art as he kind of is going through this. Oh man, the Ace of Diamonds, continuing the ribcage theme, but this one's like spread open. This gives me very Gloranthan vibes, some sort of chaos god sitting right there. Oh, no worries, Ben. You missed it, and you will live forever in infamy for not being here. But I will forgive you. And seriously, the Rubblehood chapter, as I said, if you like Terry Pratchett, also if you just enjoy reading fun writing, like it made my wife, who edited the book. There were several times I caught her laughing, and I was like, "What are you looking at?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just reading Ben's chapter." Bob, gall darn it, man. Check this out. This has very Dark Soul vibes. This is the Jack of Spades, or the Jack of Diamonds. I sort of wish I had a better way to present the cards, because I don't feel like I'm doing them justice. There's the Queen. And again, just like for Savage Worlds, as Padre said, especially Deadlands, if you know the lore behind the Deadlands creatures, the fact that the Deadlands, hold on, there we go. If you remember the Deadlands, one of the secret is that the creatures, like the evil entities behind what's going wrong in the Deadlands world, are the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and so these cards would fit perfectly for that. Like Ace of Clubs. I like that some of these things are actually full bleed, like they're going right to the edge. And again, you get like a shadow version of on the flip side, and I gotta say, this is some of Bob's best artwork. I remember when he was drawing these on his channel, Trish and I were like, you need to get this kickstarted. People will love this deck. And so I'm really glad that he was able to do this. Yeah. So I'm thinking that on Thursday we'll do either a review or get back into Ekiazaru. Kind of talking about... I don't know why I get Where's Waldo vibes from this one, but I think it's because of the red and white scarf. I'm not sure that's what Bob was going for. But as I said, these cards are going to be available on a shop. They're going to be limited. Like, as soon as they're gone, they're gone. And again, like, look at those goblins kind of dancing around. The Jack of Hearts. Queen of Hearts is just amazing as well. And the King of Hearts is the final card here. So yeah, that's kind of what we have. Bob, when you watch this, if you watch this, these are amazing, and I'm so glad that we were able to get on as part of the Kickstarter on this. Thank you for letting me write a little blurb about how awesome it is to work with you. I'm looking forward to working with you on a ton of other things. Bob's going to have, I think, 3 pieces of art in the next 13th Age book, and has about 2 or 3 pieces of art in this one. The Drakenhall book has one of my favorite pieces. Ben commissioned it. It is a giant dragon turtle and the kaiju shark that kind of swarm the beaches around it, which is interesting because most of Drakenhall is adventurer tier with a little bit into champion, but Ben put like one epic tier monster in there, or epic tier encounter, which was very cool. So that's basically it for Behind the Screen today. I realized it was a little potpourri kind of chat, reconnect. Being off even one day kind of throws me off my game, and wanted to get back into it with something that was fun to talk about and easy. We got Torg tonight on the Ulysses International channel, which is why I'm wearing my Gauntman t-shirt. The group should finally figure out what's on the film canister, which I'm pretty excited to hear about, to share. We've also been posting newspaper clippings from the in-world newspaper in Istanbul, so that the recaps and the hints of what's coming are all in the newspaper. So if you follow Ulysses International's Twitter, you can see those pieces of art. We're actually going to lead in with that today in the stream. We have Behind the Screen on Thursday, and then this Saturday is actually a very busy day for those of us at Iconic. Excuse me. In the morning, I'm doing the Duck episode with Evan on Exploring Glorantha, which hopefully will explain what is going on with the ducks. We had a lot of people kind of talking with us about it, and they're like, I come to Glorantha and then I see and hear ducks, and I'm like, what does that do for us? Why do we need ducks? And so hopefully we can kind of explain what's up with the ducks in Glorantha. And then Saturday night at 8 o'clock Central, we're going to be doing our next live episode of the Iconic Podcast. We're going to be talking about Trail of Cthulhu, the core book, making characters, kind of talking through the ideas of Trail of Cthulhu and what's in there. I don't know, Ben. I don't know if this film canister, is a MacGuffin that you will never open and will just constantly be rolling down the street one step ahead of your latest explosions. Who knows? Who knows what Kowalski and Zorba and Kit and Delilah and Brother Block are going to be up to tonight. But yes, if you that's the schedule for this week, and then next week I have some business trips, but I have pre-recorded my literary influences video, and then we'll have the interview with Evan and I about our post-con debrief. One bit of sad news: we are pushing the grand campaign out to the first week of May, just because there's a lot going on at the end of April. Just some people are out of town, holidays, lots of holidays here at the end of the month, and so we're just pushing it out 2 weeks, but we'll still get a grand campaign in here at the beginning of May. And yes, we're going to be launching a brand new show in May. Streamed, probably going to use Foundry. Looking forward to it. We're going to try and get as many patrons in as we can, either as regulars or guest stars. If you guys are at all interested and want to vote on what show we do next, please consider following us at patreon.com/iconicproduction. You can find us there. And again, even the base tier support gets you on the Discord, which gets you a vote in the poll. If you like what you do, please consider following us here on Twitch. Thanks to Rook for sub-bombing us here this morning. And follow us on YouTube, like a video, leave a comment, subscribe there. It helps the algorithm say, hey, people are enjoying this. And we are on track to, we're moving up. We've just crossed 500 followers on YouTube. When we get to 1,000, I have a giveaway planned and a raffle where we're going to send out something pretty interesting and unique. I'm pretty excited to share that when we get closer. We hit 750 followers. I will explain what the surprise will be, but it is a Kickstarter edition of something, and I think people will really enjoy it. So one lucky subscriber will actually get something pretty interesting coming to them in the mail from Iconic Production. So that is it for Behind the Screen on Tuesday today. I'm JM, and thank you for joining me. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. It is great to see everyone. Ben, Padre, Oz, and Rook, always good to see you. Looking forward to launching the new show, and I will see you all on Thursday for some more Behind the Screen.